All right, so I am super grateful to have our special guest on tonight. The beautiful Linda Evenden is going to be joining us. My babies are off to bed right now. One of the beautiful things about this business is we can do it around our family. Typically, not that long ago, 3 to 5 years ago, I would have been absolutely manic after working a 16-hour day and really not doing a great job of being a great mum for my children. And I'm so grateful that Linda held a space for us for over 6 years. We said no to this business and we just watched her grow and create something truly incredible that at a point in our life that we got frustrated and had enough moment that she actually was our dream keeper and created a space for us to step into. So if it wasn't for this beautiful woman, there's no way we would have the life that we have right now. That Anthony could have been home during the entire school holidays with our kids instead of working and not seeing them. So this really can change lives, and I know there's so much gold in this incredible woman that she has to share with us. So I'm going to find her, and there she is. Hello, how are you?
Hi, good evening.
Thank you.
Hello, Dream Team. Oh, wow, I'm up on the big screen. I'm going to gallery view.
You are.
I love seeing everyone's faces. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the intro, Katie. And, you know, it was easy, the 6 years. I mean, it was a warrior effort. Thank God I wasn't just sitting around waiting for Kate. But it was easy because by that time, 6 years in, I understood that I had a solution that is just so much better than most other things out there.
Yeah.
And so I could just stay true in that belief and keep highlighting the things for Kate and Anthony that I felt they desired more of. And I mean, that's what we do. That's what we do. And it takes time. It absolutely, you know, it takes time. I shared a Fraser Brooks one today that popped up as a memory a year ago, and it was kind of everything. It takes time. All good things take time, and quitting doesn't make it happen any sooner.
Yeah.
And so that's always a well-received message across teams and in this profession, because there's part of us that expects this to be easy, and there's part of us that expects it to be a one-year career because we heard someone that did it in 1 year. And I wouldn't wish that on anyone, I promise, because it takes time to step into all of the great things that really can develop in this business over time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, don't wish it was easier, wish you were bigger, as Jim Rohn says, that I love. So what are we covering, Katie? Are we going to Q&A or what?
Yeah, I'd love to do some Q&A. So for those of you, we have a lot of new faces on the line tonight, which is really exciting.
I know. I'm looking through them.
I really would love you to speak into, I think, like you said, some people, we get started and we're excited, and then there's no's that come early, and we basically just throw the baby out with the bathwater. So having a long-term vision with what's possible and also expecting the challenge along the way. Can you speak into that? Because I think for some of us, we still feel like, yeah, why haven't they said yes? Why aren't they, you know, following me? And have I got it wrong? And then people step into that self-doubt.
Yeah. So I was just on another training and it was the same question. And here's the thing, because there was a woman who was maybe 4 months in, and she had a belief, I'm from a small town, there's lots of other network marketing companies here, and people have put me in a toxic box. And then you kind of go, okay, well, this is interesting. How do you know? You know, what did they say? That's it. You're in a toxic box. I'm not interested. And when you get based in reality, she'd had 2 or 3 people that had kind of gone into ... mode, and she wasn't sure what to do next. But then we make up this big, wild, fantastic, dramatic story about a toxic box. Right? I thought it was so cute to be in a toxic box, but it's not reality. So in those first few months, what I want to encourage everyone to do is really understand and build your beliefs That's your number one job, especially when you're new. As quickly as possible, build your beliefs. Now, what is a belief? Something that you absolutely believe to be true. It's a thought that you attach a lot of certainty to all the time. So I believe that this is a way that I'm going to change my financial destiny and build that belief. How? Because she can do it, because I heard this story, because this is one of the smartest things, and you read the 4-Year Career and you're listening to MLM Nation podcast and you're going to GoPro and you're coming to Game Plan and you're plugging in every week on training and you're hearing story after story. If they can do it, I can do it. And you're based in reality. So my number one coaching thing, when I get what people's gap is, inevitably they come up with the story of why not. And then we delve into what's really the why not. And so once you map that out, why you think that it's harder for you, or whatever you think about you is special, that's harder, I just go back to the numbers. I literally, and it doesn't matter how special you are, how fantastic you are, how influential you are, if you're one of the Instagram queens who can do headstands on the beach, with your perfect bottom hanging out, I don't know. That's not me. And if I had have believed that that's what I needed to do, that was going to be my special thing, I wouldn't have lasted. But what I understood really early, and this reminded me on the previous call, I understood the numbers. I had a really pivotal moment with Jeff Roberti at the bar.
Could you share who Jeff Roberti?
Jeff Roberti is one of the number one earners of all time. You know, they call him the $100 million man. He earns a lot of money every week. And here's why. Because he didn't change companies. He stayed in line, and he spoke up to 300 people every week, pretty much for the first 8 or 9 years. And that has led him to, before this man wakes up, he's being paid, in 20 different countries.
Incredible.
So I understood his story, and I understood that he went from being a broke waiter who had insane work ethic, big ambition, which I had, always had, and this was the vehicle that he was able to change his life and many, many, many others along the way. Old, young, loud, quiet, 7 kids, no kids, right? And everything in between. And so I was at the bar with Jeff, and I remember maybe I was about QNMD, maybe on my way to NMD by then. It took me 4 years to get to NMD, and it was the 4-year career. That was fast back then. How many years ago is that? I always have to look at my NMD statue. Anyway, and I remember saying to him, it's the numbers, right? And then he looked at me kind of like I was an alien. He goes, what do you mean? He said, of course it's the numbers. And then he said, you've got the Jim Rohn CD, right? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, how many times have you listened to that? And I went, proudly, about 10. And then he went, so you haven't really listened to it. And I went, oh. And he said, how many times do you think I've listened to it? And I said, 100. And he said, probably around 3,000.
Wow.
It was like 30 years, 5 times a week. Yep, probably about that. And that's when I knew that anyone can do this business. Anyone can do this business. There's 7 skills to master. GoPro maps them out. You need 10,000 hours of any amount of time and effort to be anything that's good. But not everything is going to pay you multiple 6- and 7-figure income per year. Choose this model. Yes, jeffroberti.net. That's how you spell it too.
And I'll pop the link to the Jim Rohn training that Linda's mentioning into the team.
Now, that's it. Now, it's an oldie but a goodie, because every single objection, hurdle, and triumph that you're going to have, there's a chapter in Jim Rohn's CD that addresses it. Like how to run a meeting, how to do follow-ups, how to know the numbers, how to utilize your time properly, right? How to become a compelling inviter, all of that stuff, okay? So you need to be able to know every one of his inflections and finish his sentences. Once I got from the number one earner that if he fell off the face of the earth and all of my tribe of mentors were to never show up again, that my $1 million ticket was all in that CD, I listened to it a lot, okay? And what you also learn in there is the safety in numbers and the law of averages. So new people, here's the number one thing, they stop at 3 or 4 because they actually believe that they're going to get a whole lot of yeses. So I help pre-frame them that this is a numbers game, and whether you're brand new or you're a seasoned professional, that the numbers are pretty much the same. And that if you invite 10 to come and have a look at this, 2 are likely to say, yes, send me more info. And 1 is likely to start and do something with you. Another 1 is likely to start and do almost nothing. They may not even order their own product. And the other 8, well, guess what? Now we're in a conversation. Now we've planted a seed. And who knows, like Kate Golay, 6 years later, I just kept circling back over that seed. But it was planted long, long, long before. Does that make sense? So I understood really early that I got paid on every single invitation, whether it was yes, no, or maybe. And if you can understand that, you will turn that rejection and self-obsession that they're saying yes or no to you and you're making it all about you instead of you being a connector. Behind me is the promised land. Behind me is the chance for people to change their life a little bit or a lot. 500 a month, 5,000 a month, 50,000 a month, you decide. That's the promised land. I can give you many, many examples and stories. There's the promised land. I am a doorway to that land. This is what I see. I love what I see. I'm going here. Do you want to come and look at this? Do you want to come and look at this? I'm only the pointer, the connector. I'm not the doorway that is the products, the marketing plan, the whole end result. You don't see anything. And guess what? I don't decide who gets to know. I don't decide for them whether they're able to have the invitation to look, to see for themselves. They decide. They self-select. Is that helpful?
Yeah, perfect. I love what you said earlier, and I saw a few people chuckling about being, you know, the Insta person with the handstands and whatever. There is a lot of us that is not what we are, and I love how the way you do business, you do you. What would your advice be to those that might feel like they need to be something different than who they are right now to be able to create an amazing business and impact?
Because people are going to join you, and if you're not being authentically you, for instance, if you were to reach out to a friend who already knows you and you would write things in a message that you wouldn't usually write, they're going to go, that's odd. Who's influencing them? Do I have to worry about my friend here? She started doing all these things that she wouldn't usually really do. Does that make sense? Because people love authenticity. People love truth. People love you being honest and you being real. So instead of, like, I love other people's stories. They help me. I'm always referring to other people's real story as well. But first and foremost, my story is what matters the most. My story is everything. Whether I'm brand new, and I haven't barely signed up. My products are on the way. My story is still valid. My story is, you know what? I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I'm so tired of arguing over freaking face cream. I can't bear one income anymore. Something has to change. And, you know, I've watched my friend, you know, begin her own business working from home. And I'm like, well, what if I can create some extra income like she is? And she's having fun. I'm seeing her come out of her shell. And you know what? I love what I've seen so far. I'm brand new. I've got no clue what I'm doing. but I'm so excited to really start creating something for me and my own money again. Is that a real story that I'm being someone else right now, but I'm in that part of many new people? Does it make sense? I'm not saying this company's all of that. That comes later. But what entices me to lean in and hear more and want more is my story. So I think one of the most important things you can learn in your first week is to really practice saying, first of all, you know what? I just want to share a little bit about why I said yes. Well, my story so far. When you can take 5 seconds to center and get into what your real story is, well, now we're present. Now we're connected. Now we're in rapport. Now we've got the speed of trust. I'm reminding myself to be me and real. And from here, anything's possible. Does that make sense? Hopefully that's helpful. Yeah, I'm not about to go and learn to be an Instagram queen, but I'm going to recruit them. I'm going to know what their pain is. I'm going to know what their desires are. I'm going to know what they really want more of and what they want less of. And I'm going to message them and say, you know what? I love what you're up to. I can't help but think of a really great way that you can really expand your influence and monetize a bit more of what you're doing. I'd love to have a conversation. I'd love to see how we might be able to collaborate. This is my passion and mission. I see that in you too. Make sense? Now, if I could be bothered, I'd be doing that to 50 people a day. But I'm kind of lazy at this point. I get to invest 20 hours a week at this point because that's what you get to do if you stay in line. You can pick and choose. But if I were one of you, that's what I would be doing. When I was hungry at the start, my hunger was doing in-homes with 7 women sitting around kitchen tables doing an hour product presentation to usually get 2 red and green orders. That was how I built the empire. Literally one party at a time. That was it. One conversation at a time. Drunk people, silly people, backwards people, toothless people, rainy nights on the mountain where I nearly went off the side of the cliff. Like, they're the stories where I grew my grit. That's where I became bulletproof and unshakable, was at the front of the stand that I did every Saturday at the markets and the Health and Wellbeing Expo. That's where I found Fee, who was one of my first followers. And then from Fee, there was eventually Christine, and then there was eventually Kayla, and so it goes. And it was a conversation skills.
So one of the things we're taught is that, the success in your business isn't about your upline, or you can't look anywhere except in the mirror. What is your advice to everyone on the line around finding their own hunger and that burn? Because there would have been many nights, I'm sure, you didn't want to have to get in the car. You'd been with the 3 kids all day and you would be tired. What kept you going versus going, nah, I'm kind of done?
Look at my giant smile.
I know, look at you.
Because I'm thinking back to little old me. Little old me. I'm so proud of her. Do you know what I'm so proud of her, and I made sure that when I got in my car, no matter what happened, whether it was good or bad, I was unshakable. I was going to get it. I was going to outwit, outplay, out-earn, out-fun, outlast everyone, including my husband. All the doubt, take it in and go, forgive them. They know not what they do. Cream, you've got the $1 million secret. You're Willy Wonka. Because I was a student, a massive obsessed student of this profession that can change everyone's life. So I went from being very embarrassed of the network marketing industry, company proud, but industry very deficient. And that's why I added the 4th belief, not just the 3 beliefs. I added the 4th of the profession, because I was super proud of Juice Plus because of Juice Plus taught us to be, but no one was teaching me how to be proud of the profession. So enter Eric Warray, enter Go Pro, enter, now I went from being a closet network marketing professional. I never, only 5-6 years ago, I would not have been caught dead in a room with other network marketers. I thought they were like zombies. I'm not one of them, right? I'm superior. And now they're some of my best friends. I collaborate with them, right? You know, Redefining Network Marketing is a top leader from another company who said, we need to change the industry, you know, we need to raise the bar and show people it's collaborative, not competitive. There's abundance. There's enough for everyone. The dream that she has that I'm totally in is that when we're connecting, I want to know what company you're representing and what things I can buy from you to support you and your family and your dream. Right? When we get together at a party, I want it to be all network marketers who are changing their lives, small business with giant results and impact. Mm. So it's up to us to constantly build our beliefs. So I knew that I was massively deficient in belief in the industry and it was holding me back. And I knew what was going to happen if I was very determined to build that belief. So I remember a pivotal moment, and I'm coaching with some leaders that have kind of lost their belief and a bit of their way at the moment. And step one is, and I invite all of you to do it, no matter what stage you're at, brand new or, you know, 4 or 5 years down the track, I want you to flood pages and pages and pages of all of your purpose and reasons why, things that you love, things that you see, things that you know about with the products, the company, the mission, right? The profession. So instead of your why being 3 to 4 lines long, you flooding it, you know, with 10, 15 pages of, because we're changing DNA, we're changing generations, because I'm leaving a legacy, because I'm mission driven, because I'm purpose filled, because I love seeing team light up when they promote. I love bonuses flying everywhere. I love. And it's like every day you're going to the purpose gym and you're so when you get the no and you're unshakable, and you get in that car and you crank up your theme song, my giant smile was my theme song that I was laughing at, that just on the worst days, like there's just this, everyone's got this hilarious rock bottom moment. And, you know, mine was with Christine on Tambourine Mountain with these absolute assholes. Let's say they're part of my French, but they were. And, you know, I'd driven an hour in the dark and I just get so like in such a kerfuffle when I'm lost at night. I don't even know who I turn into. And that was a real moment of, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. And then just finding and remembering, if Jeff can, I can. If Cheryl can, I can. If Lauren can, I can. I've got Jim Rohn. I've got my theme song. And so I would crank my theme song. And I learned to crank my theme song after the triumph, whatever I was deeming to be triumphant that day, or the loss. And then you can quickly turn the loss into the gain. What did I gain today? That I'm not traveling an hour for people who are not committed again.
We want to know, what's your theme song, Linda?
It's called Hold On to the Dream. And it's by Sean Paul, you know, the kind of the reggae guy. And I heard it after watching Usain Bolt documentary. So then I went and looked it up.
Awesome. I love it. And I like how you said, play it whether you're winning or you've got defeat. Like, it's just that anchor of, I know where I'm going, I know what I want, and that's not going to stop me.
Oh, and you know my new theme song for the next level, even though I don't even have an opponent right now. I don't know what my opponent is, but it's the Guy Sebastian one about I'm stronger up against the ropes. I'm like, I need an opponent right now. I love it, right? So that's my new theme song at the moment.
I love it. And I think it's really important to highlight everyone that there's always another level. And I mean, Linda has
always
an incredible organization, and yeah, she could sit back and do nothing, but that's not her heart and that's not who she is. And it's that next level.
Just on Mondays and Fridays.
So I think
the rest of the week I'm like swinging.
Going for it. I love it. And so keeping that hunger alive and not relying on someone else to keep it for you, like keeping that fire going. On some of those tough days, did you think about the kids? Did you think about your future? Did you think about people that said you can't do this? And that was like, what was it?
Yes. All of the above.
Uh-huh.
I just was like I was the cat that had the cream. Like, if they only knew. Poor souls. They're just going about the job and the career. They just don't know. They're going to know. Just watch. 3 of my close friends are medical professionals, doctors, and they were so smug at the start. And so it's not a useful fuel all the time, but I definitely used them sometimes as fuel of, I'm going to out-earn you. I'm going to have more time flying around everywhere, and I'm also going to out-earn you. And because I took it personally to begin with. So that fuel is it's not the highest quality fuel, but on the lower days, you just use whatever you need to, right? So that was definitely one. And James was fuel. James was still, I love him dearly. He was still patting me on the back a little 4 years in, and I go, look at my check, looks like $6,000 this month. And he'd be like, yeah, that's really good. But you spent this much over here, and you're flying over here, and you're probably working about this much. So I would use it like, there's going to be a time where I'm going to overtake him and he can't out-earn me. Like, there's going to be a time where you can't out-bonus me, you can't out-whatever. Now, my real purpose was always, he was traveling. He traveled all of our life that we've been together. He's always traveled. And there was just this sadness that would come over us. The dog would be in the suitcase, and there'd be this dread on Sunday night as he would pack to go off for the week. And it was those things. I think what drives us more is what we don't want anymore. Mm. So there were a lot of things that I was never going to go back to. I was never going to go back to one income and not being able to have Thai takeaway. That's absurd to me, when you just can't afford fancy Thai and you have to have chicory chicken, especially when you're vegetarian. That was a big one. Sometimes it's really simple things, right? It's really simple things. Whatever you're sick of. I wanted to buy my girls clothes from Maya, not Kmart. I love Kmart. I go to Kmart. I fill trolleys still at Kmart, but I don't have to. That's the difference.
Yeah, the choices.
Yeah.
I love it. So as far as playing the long game, like we said before, when you have someone getting started or wanting to get into momentum, what is the best use of their time to really grow their business? Because there's a difference of learning and taking action. And sometimes we can get stuck in the learning and thinking we need to know it all first. But from an action perspective, where is the best time spent for people?
So I think that they self-select really quickly of whether they're going to show up or not. And to me, it's always the size of your list. Mm. And so most people think it's reasonable to start with 10, 15, 20 names. And that's all I'm talking about. That's my God honest truth. Everyone that I've started over the past few weeks, it's literally, tell me about this person. Why are they on your list? What do you respect about them? What do you admire about them? Why do you think they might love this? Okay, well, cool. I'm excited to let's invite them at least to take a look. We've got no idea if it's for them or not. And your job is this. You're a connector. You're an inviter. So that list, I believe our first, 2 to 4 weeks is all about helping breathe just that excitement and courage and daily belief into them, and to gather as quickly and as fun as possible their first few customers and their first team. And now they know they've done it before, they can do it again. So once we've got that foundation, guess what? Well, now you've got the ingredients to be $1 million earner, or a multiple 6-figure earner, or a 5,000 a month earner, because that's all we do. So showing them as quickly as possible, well, this is the business, this is it. And then what's possible if they keep doing it. And then if they empower people like we just empowered them. Does that answer it?
Yeah, I love it.
I just came to soak up the wisdom.
So I think it's really tempting because we're so sophisticated with so many systems and lovely things. But when we start, it's the list and you're doing it with them.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had anyone, even really capable people, go off and do it successfully on their own, because it's a different skill set. Most people have no clue how to listen and ask good questions. Most people, honestly, have no clue what that looks like. They go and do what they think sales is.
Mm.
Talk us through it practically. So I just started with you. Here's my list. What does it look like?
I honestly find, okay, so here's your top 10. I'm literally going to write down the names on my list under your name, and I want to know all about them. Like, I want to get excited to meet this person. So, and then we're going to make notes on each one of them. And it's always very, very individual. How do you know her? Well, she loves, I'll give you an example of one just last week. She's volunteers a lot. She's pretty happy in her job, but she's always on the hunt for the next thing. She's up for anything. She's this, she's this. So I'm forming this picture, and in my mind, I'm like, the color personalities, and they're going to love Nutrition Plus. They're going to love the company mission statement. I'm going to send them this link. And so each one of those, I think the big mistake is treating everyone the same and sending one thing to everyone and kind of splatting and hoping and praying. Even though the numbers will play out, when you can customize, it puts us ahead of the game as a company and within the team, just to be very considerate of who is this person, what are their hopes, dreams, desires, what are they missing, and we actually don't know until we go and talk to them. And also pre-framing, I think that this is huge, pre-framing what the numbers are going to look like. So I will establish from them, what will success look like for you in the next 30 days? Like, we're looking back 30 days from now, so it's the 22nd of August, and you've had your first 30 days in the business. What's success going to be? What will what's going to put a smile on your dial that you've achieved? And they'll go, well, I'd like to help someone. That'd be good. Yeah. Who specifically? A customer, a team? Yep. And, well, let's talk income. Would there be an income? Yep. Most people say 500. And so once I'm specific with that, now I've got a boundary around this thing to give some numbers to. And now I get to translate that into action and say, well, if we get through this list of 20 that you've given me, we literally make sure that at some stage in the next 30 days, now above average people are going to get through this list in the next 48 hours. And average people are going to take the 3-4 weeks, and below average are, probably going to maybe stop after 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. They get a few no's. So It just depends. It's your journey, your business, and it's always about the numbers. So I'm framing that you've got to speak to 10 and invite 10. So 2 are going to say, yeah, sure, send me info. That sounds good. They're going to be pretty genuine and, yeah, I could be interested. And then out of the 2, 1 is probably going to start and do a little bit. And then we do the next 10. And then we're going to have 2 and 1 is probably going to do quite a bit. And guess what? There's more than your 500. There's the 1,000. There's the 2,000. So I'm definitely framing up the numbers there of how many people they've got to speak to achieve that result, because I think it is a misperception of the activity that's going to be needed. New people talk to 5 people, they get 5 no's, and then they go, it's crap, it doesn't work, I don't work, this isn't for me, and they go silent.
And so with, say, for example, you've got an understanding of each person and you know the story, are you having your new teaming? You're saying, hey, let's craft the message together. Are you saying, hey, let's introduce me into in a message chat with this person? What's your strategy around that? Because I think sometimes people feel like they have to do it alone, and they don't want to bother their mentor, and so that can cause some.
Yeah, I love that question, Katie, because here's my honest truth. This is one of my only responsibilities in starting someone and across the business, and it's the most important time that I'm having with them, is giving them the best understanding about what it can be. And each of those individuals, everyone comes with different desire levels, confidence levels, and skill sets. And so I'm going to really be very interested in establishing that with that new person. And I'm going to ask them as they go through the list, I'm going to say, you know what, these are your relationships. I'm not going to tell you how to be friends with your friends. So how would you love, who's the ringer in here? The ringer is the one or two who are like, yeah, that sounds fun. I'm up for an adventure. Why not? Yeah, I'll buy something from you. Sure, why not? Yeah, I might look at it too. Who's that person? We start with some wind in your sails. We want the early wins. We want to get you that confidence and excitement. Who's the person that you feel that could be? And so and then I'm going to talk about, we've got very warm, easy list. Then we've got the cooler list. And then we've got cold. And we really want to start with the people who like and trust you and know you. And so it's just an invitation. It's not yes, no forever. All we're doing is inviting them to come and take a look. So some people we're going to get in a 3-way messenger. Some of them on that list, they're going to be very comfortable and they're never going to put me in a 3-way message.
Yeah.
Because they're like, that would be weird. And other people are like, oh, yeah, I'd be way too scared, so I wouldn't know what to say. I'll say the wrong thing. So it's up to them. It's not for me to put my square peg on everyone else, if that makes sense.
I love that.
So this is where incredible systems can lose. There's some gaps sometimes.
Mm. And so what would you say to the person maybe on their path to SDVF, their first couple of promotions, that maybe is hesitant in speaking to people that are in their warm-ish circle, or doesn't know how do I introduce my mentor into this? Like, it kind of seems strange. What would your advice be around that with what you've seen?
I would get them to come back to understanding that whether it's yes, no, or maybe, the answer's already decided. It's not actually about us. It's their season and it's their level of desire and it's their wants and their needs. So let's face it, we're only going to start something like this when we're dissatisfied strongly in some area. We only change when we really have to. So what we're actually doing is looking for the people who are in the season of, I've got to change something. I was so resistant to change that I had said no for the whole year to Lauren. So I understood that this was a process and seasons. So everyone's in different seasons. Would you agree? If someone's in summer, so I'll have a really quick chat about that. If someone's in summer, it's like harvest time, party time. Oh my God, I'm so busy. It's red t-shirt day and the kids are doing this and I'm doing this and my husband just started this. Tell me in 3 months. We've all had that, right? Someone's like, it sounds great and I'm usually the ringer, but I'm just too busy, I'm satiated. Then there's the winter people. Some people are permanently in winter. They're like Eeyore, right? Oh, they're never going to do so. You don't want them, trust me. But the opportunity clock is really, really, you can't influence. It's total ego for us to think that we get to influence and razzle-dazzle people when they're out of season. Because we don't. What we get to do is plant a seed that can really grow, and we nurture it and we keep a safe place. We plant a really great seed, and that's what Lauren was amazing at doing. So even though I got on a 3-way call, now it still worked. Even though Lauren did it brand new, like a total rookie, and did all the wrong things, it still worked because I got on the 3-way call even when I said, Lauren, I don't want to speak to some woman. No, she's a top salesperson. She's really amazing. You got to know her. She's calling you at 4 o'clock tomorrow. I'm like, no. I get on the call with Cheryl. She tells me the story. She does what Cheryl does because it works. But you know what happened in that 3-way call? They invited me and they made me feel special. Cheryl started with her beautiful verbiage of, you may not know this, but this is what Lauren says about you. I just grew 10 times bigger. And that's the lasting effect in emotion that I left the call with. A lady telling me about a story of how she changed her life. She agreed with me about loving the products first and that the door is open and they want me. Wow. I don't remember the last time that happened in my life as a stay-at-home mum with a screaming toddler. I don't know. So the seed was planted. Even though I said no, I was flattered. I was left built up, if that makes sense. So what gives me courage doing 3-way calls and empowering my brand new person who's got no idea what this experience is going to be like, I'm giving the story. I'm going to say we're going to compliment them authentically. You're going to tell me really what you care about this person and why they're on your list. That's all we're going to do. We're inviting. We're professional inviters. So once you take all the pressure off of outcome and expectations, we're having a conversation. I'm inviting them. We've got this. We'd love you to come and look. And it's okay if you don't. Maybe you know someone who would love to look at this. That's what I do.
I love it. Amazing, amazing. In the last minute or so, I would love you to just share your passion about Game Plan that we have coming up on the Gold Coast in November. It's such an incredible event. And I know you've got a special on with the tickets as well at the moment, which is brilliant for teams coming together as well. So why don't you share a little bit about how that was born?
Yeah, so the Game Plan was born out of, I love skills and I love compressing time. I want, like, give me the golden, secret. I want the thing that's going to make the difference. So I love verbiage. I love those skills to remember. And so we've got our incredible Juice Plus Australia conference, and that's 2 big days. It's just once a year. And the America Juice Plus has 2 conferences a year, and so does the UK. So in the back half of the year, we wanted like an incredible event where we get to come together as community and learn from those who have created the success that we want from all levels of the business, early SC right through to established senior leaders, and just capturing the very best of their wisdom, and usually 1 or 2 guest speakers as well. Because I'm also a big believer, this is a personal development journey. We can have all the skill set in the world and we exactly know the steps of how to. If we don't have the courage and we're not aligned in our purpose and why we're doing this, that part's the personal development journey that we need to break through some some limits there as well. So this year's game plan, I mean, we've got Fraser coming back. Fraser Brooks, who was just incredible last year. We love him because he's entertaining and he just has an incredible giant heart. He's definitely one of our people, and he wants to see people win at this, and that comes through everything he does. And he built a global team of many multiple thousands. And we've got another incredible guest speaker, Scott DeMullen, who I've been to one of his seminars recently. It's coming up in Melbourne, actually. If you are interested in more confidence in business and in public speaking, it is an incredible, if you look up Scott DeMullen, or maybe Katie, you can write his name.
Yes, I'll do that.
Yeah, he just blows me away. His experience and wisdom across everything to do with personal development and business is spectacular. So when he said that he would come out and play with us as well, I'm more excited than ever before. This will be our 5th, maybe our 6th. I should know that.
I think about the first that we went to, there was maybe 30, 40 people in a room?
That's a stretch.
Do you remember that? Like, we were there for
there was about 50.
Yeah.
And then the second year was, I think, 250 at QT.
Yeah.
And then we had 400, and then we had 700, and this last one was 870. There's always about 200 on live stream, so we'd love it to be even more. So our special at the moment, and we really were inspired from Eric's teachings here, and what Kate and Ant was so instrumental in pulling off, is just leaders go first, build it, and they will come. So I learned that really early on, that it's not about me being there. Of course you're going to be there at the major event, but what you're going to do is use that event to add dollars to your bank account, which is literally people who are in that seat experiencing this possibility for themselves is going to change your business for the following 2, 3, 6, 12 months. And I know it to be true. So every single conference, I've got my newbies and I've got the gang from the one before. So it's literally, 20, 30, 40%. When I first took 17 to America, the next year it was 50. The next year it was over 100 that were there for 100 Club on stage. So it just keeps going. So whatever your vision is for your check in this business and what it's going to allow you to do, what's going to get you there quicker than anything is plugging people into the system that works, and our events work. Janae got it. Oh, we've got some really exciting announcements for. James said he's extending it for another. He's gotten lots of messages saying, can we please extend beyond midnight, because it was finishing tonight, the flash sale. And I said to James, it has to be a flash. And he said, let's do 24 more hours. So because we really do believe that a lot of people have not yet got the message on it, because it's just been so hectic. So, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are so grateful for your wisdom. You definitely made us laugh and think tonight, and I think really dig deep. And for those of you wanting to create, Linda calls it your masterpiece life, it is absolutely possible with this vehicle and this community. And I think you can tell from just her heart and the way that she shares, like, it just is just such a beautiful mission that you can be a part of it, but it comes back to you showing up for you first. And super grateful for you, Linda, and your time tonight. And I'm a bit excited because this weekend I get to hang out with you on a boat in Hamilton Island. Oh my God! It's going to be so much fun. That is
pretty exciting.
About this business is fun was not part of my vocabulary 5 years ago. Now it is up there with a capital, with an exclamation mark. So be prepared for some fun photos.
So grateful. And I just, in front of your team, I really want to acknowledge you both for all that you continue to do for everyone I know that your team knows your heart and vision, and that just the courage you show across everything that you do, and the level that you serve at, how you just jump on a plane and go and create the most epic Super Saturday experience for everyone to immerse into. And I honestly believe, I just kind of am shuffling in my seats about the dream team and what's ahead, because I feel like you're just getting warmed up, to be honest. I really, and the heart and mission that I see in this team, of the level that you care for people and the community that's like glue between you all, is just the stuff that dreams are made of. So I'm just so grateful that I get to walk this journey with you as well, and love seeing you watching whales during the day. Makes my heart full.
Thank you so
thanks.
much, honey.
You girls have fun while I look after the kids.
Yeah,
So
we will. It's the way it should be, right? Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Linda.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Mwah.
Thank you.